Revenge with Anjo.
On the coldest Christmas night anyone in the town could remember, a young woman named Taryn stood on the icy pavement holding the trembling hands of her grandfather, Mr. Maleko, as her parents shut the door in their faces. The sharp click of the lock echoed through the silent street. "Take your useless old man and leave," her mother snapped coldly. Her father folded his arms and added, "You chose him, so suffer the consequences." Taryn did not cry at first. She was too stunned to move. But beside her, Mr. Maleko leaned close and whispered in a soft voice, "Child, they have no idea who they just threw away." His words were calm, almost reassuring, and yet they carried a mystery Taryn could not understand. She had always tried to believe her parents were simply stressed, not cruel. Even now, a part of her clung to that hope. She tightened her hold on her grandfather. "It's okay, Grandpa. We'll figure something out," she whispered, though fear pulsed through her chest. The icy wind tore at her coat, reminding her that the home she had always known was now forever closed. They walked slowly down the quiet street, snow crunching beneath their shoes. Mr. Maleko's breathing grew slightly heavier, yet he didn't complain. "Lean on me," Taryn urged gently. "I'm fine, my dear," he replied with a peaceful smile. When they reached a small bus shelter glowing under a flickering lamp, she helped him sit. Wrapping her shawl around his shoulders, she knelt before him, her voice shaking. "I don't know where we're going or what we'll do." He looked at her kindly. "You trusted love when no one else did. That alone will guide us," he said. Taryn stared at the road ahead, her eyes filling with tears she refused to release. Her parents' words echoed cruelly in her mind. "You're a burden he gives nothing back." Mr. Maleko squeezed her hand. "Listen to me, Taryn. Tonight is not the end. It is the beginning." She swallowed hard. "Beginning of what?" she asked. He smiled knowingly. "Of truth." Sitting quietly in the shelter, Mr. Maleko reached into his worn coat and pulled out a small metal box, old and scratched, as if it carried stories of many years. He placed it in Taryn's hands. "Open it," he said gently. Her fingers trembled as the lid lifted. Inside were official documents, unfamiliar keys, sealed letters, and a smooth black card with no name or logo. She looked at him in confusion. "Grandpa, what is this?" she whispered. He sighed deeply. "There is a life I hid from everyone," he began. "Before I became the quiet old man you know, I controlled trade lines across several coastal cities. Ships, warehouses, routes, all mine." Taryn's eyes widened. "That's impossible," she murmured. "Your parents never knew." "They never wanted to," he replied softly. "I walked away when betrayal touched my bloodline. I chose silence." She stared at him, overwhelmed. "Why show me now?" she asked. His gaze softened. "Because you never abandoned me. Because you chose compassion over comfort." Before the sky even began to lighten, Mr. Maleko asked for Taryn's phone and dialed a number she had never seen before. His tone shifted, calm yet commanding. Within minutes, powerful engines echoed down the street. Two dark SUVs pulled up, and men in sharp uniforms stepped out, bowing respectfully. "Sir, we came immediately," one said. Taryn gasped silently. In stunned confusion, she followed as they were ushered into the vehicles and driven through the sleeping city. They arrived at a grand luxury hotel where staff hurried to greet Mr. Maleko as if he were royalty. "Welcome back, sir," a manager said nervously. Taryn watched as he presented the black card. One swipe and entire floors were cleared for them. As they entered the spacious suite, she approached her grandfather slowly. "Who are you?" she whispered in disbelief. Mr. Maleko chuckled. "Someone who waited long enough for the right moment." Seated on a velvet sofa, Taryn listened as Mr. Maleko spread documents before her. "This is what truly belongs to us," he stated calmly. Shipping companies, properties, and international holdings lay recorded in fine detail. "I am appointing you as my successor," he explained. "But why me?" she asked again. "Because you understand loyalty, not greed," he replied. Taryn swallowed slowly. "Then what about my parents?" He crossed his arms thoughtfully. Justice, not revenge, he said firmly. She nodded, feeling newfound strength bloom inside her chest. Later that morning, while Taryn rested by the window watching the quiet city breathe, Mr. Maleko spoke again. "We will not hide," he murmured. "The world will see you as you truly are." He handed her a formal invitation list. "There will be a Christmas appreciation dinner. Powerful people will attend." Taryn hesitated. "And my parents?" she asked carefully. He nodded. "They will be invited too. Not for shame, but for truth." She exhaled deeply. "Will they forgive me?" Mr. Maleko looked at her gently. "The question is not about their forgiveness, child. It is about your peace." Back at her parents' house, confusion had turned to whispering fear. People said SUVs collected him, a neighbor mentioned. Her father scoffed, but unease crept into his voice. That old man had nothing. Her mother's lips trembled slightly. "Still, something feels strange." And then the news broke. A television screen revealed Taryn standing confidently beside Mr. Maleko as reporters spoke of his empire. Silence filled the room. "That can't be her," her father whispered, eyes wide. But the truth showed clearly. They had thrown gold onto the street and called it worthless. When the invitation arrived, her parents clutched it like a lifeline. "She wants peace." Her mother smiled nervously. "We will fix everything." They dressed carefully, rehearsing apologies in the mirror. "We'll hug her and explain how hard life was," her father muttered. They convinced themselves this night would restore the control they believed was rightfully theirs. The ballroom stunned them. Crystal lights shimmered above polished marble floors. Voices echoed with laughter and influence. Then everything went quiet. Mr. Maleko entered, respected by all. When Taryn followed, graceful and confident, her parents froze. "Is that really her?" her mother whispered. "She looks different." Fear replaced their forced smiles. Mr. Maleko guided Taryn to the center. "Speak your truth," he said calmly. Taryn nodded, turning to the crowd. "This man beside me was thrown into the cold by his own family," she began. "I stood with him, and they called us nothing." Gasps rippled through the room. "They forgot that kindness is never weakness," father muttered, trying to smile. She continued calmly. "They told me to walk away. They told me love had no value." The silence spoke louder than shouting ever could. Mr. Maleko stepped forward, placing documents before the sealed crowd. "Every property they claimed was funded by me," he stated. "Every debt paid in silence." He signaled Taryn to play the recordings. Their cruel voices echoed through the hall. No excuses could bury truth now. Whispers turned to judgment. Business partners stepped back. Friends exchanged shocked looks. Her parents stood frozen, stripped bare by honesty. Them with calm eyes. Taryn watched. No hate lived in her voice, only strength. They rushed to her, tears flowing. "We were wrong," her mother cried. "Please forgive us." Taryn held up her hand. "You showed me how to leave," she said softly. "Now I choose to walk forward." She turned away, not in anger, but in boundary. Security escorted her parents out quietly, mirroring the same path they once forced her to take. The doors closed and relief filled the hall. The applause that followed was not for shame, but for justice. Taryn squeezed her grandfather's hand. "You were right," she whispered. He smiled warmly. They never knew who they threw away. Weeks became months, and Taryn stepped fully into her role. She walked through polished offices, greeted by respectful employees. "Good morning, Miss Taryn," they would say. Her confidence no longer felt borrowed. It lived within her naturally. Mr. Maleko now lived peacefully, his fragile past replaced with comfort and care. "You've given me rest," he told her once. She shook her head gently. "No, Grandpa. You gave me life." They shared soft laughter, healing in each word. Her parents' voices faded from her world, replaced by growth and purpose. Taryn learned not to crave their approval. Instead, she found strength in quiet reflection, purpose in leadership, and peace in forgiveness she kept private, not owed. Each decision she made shaped countless lives. Jobs grew. Opportunities expanded. Her name carried respect, not fear. "You're changing people's futures," her assistant once said. Taryn smiled softly. "I know what it feels like to have none." Every Christmas, she and Mr. Maleko would sit by a wide glass window overlooking the glowing city. "Remember the cold street?" he teased gently. Taryn laughed. "It built who I became," she replied, squeezing his hand warmly. "Not all doors close to punish," he reminded her. "Some close to redirect." She nodded. "And some losses hide the greatest gain." They shared silence that spoke peace. The night that once shattered her spirit had shaped her destiny. What was meant to break her became her rise. Love, patience, and strength had rewritten her story. Taryn no longer feared rejection, for she had learned her worth was never defined by those who abandoned her. As the city lights sparkled below, she whispered, "They threw us away, but they placed us exactly where we were meant to rise." And in that moment, she knew she was finally home. If you value stories of respect, dignity, and justice,